that is really, really, really how you learn.
So the big question is, what are the top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams, and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? If you ever thought about this, you're not alone. No one has been able to get the answers until now.
We spent the last few years helping agents sell billions in real estate, rubbing shoulders with top producers, which got us thinking, how can we expose more people to these insights to help raise the standard in the whole real estate industry? We then realized that we could help bridge the gap by getting the secrets from the best of the best so that you can succeed. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
We're going to kind of roll into topic 2 here right away, because this is something that's massive for me. And I think we're going to have a real good chat about this, because especially where I'm from as well, we're basically like our corner of the world, so to speak, or the country, we're known for being honest, to the point where it's kind of like some people think it's a bad thing because it's like, it's somewhat brutal. And I think you should have some style of empathy with regards like other people. But anyway, let's not go down that route. But like throughout my entire childhood, growing up and everything, it's like, just be honest and it'll suck. Like, it's some of those bullets you got to kind of take, and some of the bitter pills you've got to swallow. Holy shit, they suck, man. And they really do. I always remember, as a child, there was this one particular occasion and oh my God, they suck. But once it's done, like you said, we were speaking about this as well, it's over now. Like, it's done. It's out there. It ain't coming. Like, you're going to get what you're going to get, but it's out in the world now. And it's like, you just got to move on, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So I know we were speaking about a bit off air about the honesty stuff. And obviously you just mentioned it. And this is super important to me. Very important. Like, me and Peter have very honest, candid conversations all the time. And some of them really fucking suck, because like, I love him like a brother and we're partners. Like, we're obviously business partners as well. And like, some of those conversations, listen, for everyone listening, when you got a partner as well, you not only got life goals, business goals, but like financially you are intertwined. Like, they really suck sometimes to be like, listen, this is where I'm at and this is what we've got to do to get you where you need to go and to get me where I need to go. So how would you approach it? Because being honest for some people seems like a big jump. I know that, some listeners being like, yeah, it's super easy. But when you look at your life, how often do you tell white lies because it's easier for you to get through that way rather than just being honest, right? So like, you tell us what you mean about valuing honesty and how it creates more time for you and I guess your team as well.
So it just goes back to, like, you get to a point in life where you have enough money to meet your goals. And I'm like a saver by nature. I'm not a spender. I don't live this like lavish lifestyle. So I'm full. Like, I have what I need. I have what I need to pay the bills. I have what I need in like that external realm of life in terms of things and stuff. And I don't like desire more stuff. So by being steadfast and whole from within and finding that worthlessness and securities from inside myself, it allows me to just be honest. Like, I don't need anything else. I don't need or want anything. I'm doing this literally to help somebody. I'm doing this to help set them up. I've seen how real estate changes people's lives, especially like over the last 8 years when the market's just been nothing but appreciating year after year. So by just doing the right thing and doing the honest thing, telling people the truth about a house like this one, this experience post-closing, you're going to have to do this, 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 and that. Like, are you ready to do that? If not, then you shouldn't buy this, And so being honest with how we see houses and how we see real estate and the experience someone's going to have post-closing, and being upfront about that stuff just creates more time for you to go do more deals and service more people. You're not looking at shit anymore. You're not fluffing things. You're not pretending. This is, like I said, this is black and white.
It's interesting you say that. I'm actually going through this right now on a deal, and I'm the same way because I'm trying to build a long-term business and a legacy. So for me to do a quick deal, I've always looked at as a quick deal and just making a quick buck, something that always backfires. Well, it may not backfire right away, but like you're saying, it may backfire like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line. because you're making a conscious decision about disclosing or not disclosing something, right? So where am I going with this? Is going through a deal right now. Inspection came back clean. Everything came back clean. I had somebody look at the 4-point and the wind mid, and they're looking at it and saying the roof is missing like a few shingles. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? What is the impact? He goes, the insurance agent goes, well, if we write it with this carrier, the policy is most likely going to be canceled within 30, 60, 90 days, unless your client's prepared to re-roof. And then I talk with another agent, and they're just kind of beating around the bush, quoted me the same insurance, right? So now I'm getting two different things from two different agents for the same company. So I had to, come to a crossroads, and it wasn't a hard decision. It was a rather quick and easy decision, where the first thing that came out of my mouth to the client was like, hey, just listen, just so you know, here's the story. One agent told me this, one agent told me that. Because of how risk averse I am, I let's prepare for the worst, hope for the best. If you decide to go with this carrier, this is the possible outcome, and here's the expenses that you should be kind of banking on, right? And because I'm so upfront and I'm so honest, we ended up still moving forward with the property, but we already have a plan B where we're looking already at getting it re-roofed through the inspection. We're getting some seller credit back, and we're putting some solar panels on the house all along, right? So the solar panels were a plan to be executed against no matter what, right? We knew the roof was going to be 3 to 5 years old. We knew that there's probably a possibility of a new roof. But just like what you're saying is, because I am ahead and in front and honest about what this severity of the situation is, he's not going to get into this house and a month later be surprised if he gets this notice saying, hey, the inspection came back, you need to re-roof your house. He knows that going into this deal. He knows that proceeding and going through the deal. So now it is our job, duty, and responsibility and obligation to do everything we can to educate our clients so they know both the pros and the cons, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because I can sleep better at night, right? Because I don't want to be getting that phone call 30 days in saying, Pete, what the fuck? How did we not catch this? How did we not know this? And have my lack of experience be the detrimental fact where I made a conscious decision of not necessarily disclosing because somebody told me what I wanted to hear.
Exactly. Yeah. And Peter, we talk about like, there's so many real estate agents out there that represent people's interest. There's not that many real estate agents out there that represent people's best interest beyond a reasonable doubt each and every transaction.
Absolutely.
And what you were just talking about is an example of you representing somebody's best interest by asking the right questions to the right people, talking to two different people about the same thing, to be able to then just give that information to your client and let them make a decision on how to proceed. And then it never comes back to you as the agent. I got you what you needed to make a decision. I gave you advice, but we're going with your decision because you are the person purchasing this house. You are the person actually selling this house.
Yeah, I look at ourselves as not as real estate agents. I look at ourselves as like real estate almost fiduciaries, right? And advisors. So my job isn't to make the decision for you. I can recommend, but my job really is to educate you on both sides of the story and tell you, because whatever your tolerance of risk is mine is going to be different. I'm willing, to close the 10K appraisal gap. Somebody may not be. I'm willing to bend on the inspection knowing that I'm making a conscious decision of that. Somebody may not be. So if that's your conscious decision of what that looks like, it is our job, duty, responsibility, and obligation, like I keep saying, is to educate our clients no matter the outcome. Because when you do good business and you do great business and you do honest business, like you're saying, Nick, I think part of that, the reason of why you can be a double agent, why you don't have an issue being a double agent and do as many deals as a solo agent as you did, was because of your honesty and your trustworthiness, because you talked about the ugly shit that nobody wanted to talk about and you educated your clients. So when they get into a house, they're not like shocked that their roof is leaking when that shit's like 30 years old and the lifetime is 15.
Yeah, and a lot of this stuff on how to really represent people's best interests, you can't learn from reading a book. You can't learn it from reading Millionaire Real Estate Agent or Gary Keller's One Thing. You learn that shit in the field, right? And in the field,
Big
like
time.
you only walk around 3 sides of the house once to realize on that one deal you didn't look around that 4th side of that garage, and that's where somebody forgot to paint and you have a rotted siding on it. That's the last time you walk around just 3 sides of a garage versus 4.
Right.
And you only learn that stuff from like failing, and that's like it's cliche, but the fail forward concept that everybody talks about, that is really, really, really how you learn. And people that are out there that feel like they're failing through their first couple years or their first couple deals of real estate, if you stick with it, it gets easier and it gets better, but you have to be doing the right things to be in the room where people, hire you or to buy or sell or don't.
I want to throw something into the mix here. So one of my observations of being honest is you might lose the odd deal, probably not, but you might. But the way it comes back to you from referrals from the ones you were honest with will be 10 times more than if you had just gone through with that deal and collected some upfront. I think the mentality you're both talking about is long versus short-term thinking. Short-term is, hey, I need money now. Long-term is, hey, I'm going to respect that these guys shouldn't buy this fucking house because it's a pile of shit. And then in the future, they will go, God, he was such an honest guy. My friend's actually looking in New York. You got to give him a call, right? Because like he said, don't do this, right? And it was against his best interest.
Yeah, and that's such a good point. Like you can gain that trust with a consumer by telling them not to buy the first house you go out and look at. And I mean, don't do that intentionally to get them to trust you. Like that'll just happen naturally over time. But if you think about like someone who's done 800 deals, say at this point, our business is pretty 50-50 on the buy and sell side. So that's 400 buyer side transactions. If you're showing each buyer that successfully gets a house, 25 homes, 25 times 400 is a lot of homes that you told people not to buy before you suggested, hey, maybe this one will work for you because you did say this, and that. And that's now getting into talking about being a good listener. And you can't be a good listener, again, if you're not taken care of or feel full.
Yeah. One of the other things I just wanted to ask your honest opinion on, and I kind of want.
I'm sure we'll get an honest answer.
I want brutal honesty, but there is some people that will be listening, and we hope. I hope at least, well, we all do, that you're not in this situation moving forward, but where they are in desperate need of money, right? It's like, I need this deal, and therefore, when something isn't quite right, they're still willing to push it out. They're still willing to kind of like, because I need that $6,000. Like,
as we see every day, negotiating deals with agents. Right. Like what we have to do as an agent is turn the other agent. And if you turn the other agent, you start to get that situation to play out the way it's going to play out best for your client, but not at the detriment of the other party. Like that's where a lot of agents kind of fall short, and they don't put themselves in the other party's shoes. But in terms of a deal that gets to closing, that deal's never going to get there if it doesn't work for everybody. So part of being very successful in this industry is being able to put on the shoes of the other party, to see the deal from their perspective, to understand what's important to them, to then be able to position yourself for your client to be successful when there's a whole nother family involved on the other side.
Right.
I have a very good example of this. I actually ended up walking away from a deal, just to give everybody a little bit of context. I'm working with this amazing young couple. They're first-time home buyers. 4 other lenders told them that there's no way they're ever going to be able to afford a home with the income that they have. And one lender took a chance by being very creative and thinking and just preparing them for a little bit. We ended up being able to actually get them approved. Lo and behold, and the price point, unfortunately, in my market, the options are very, very limited. When I say like limited, I'm talking about like, we're looking for a needle in the haystack here, where the universe and the stars and God has to send his blessing down or her, whatever you believe in, to make this shit work. Okay. By his God's grace, we find a property, and I'm like, okay, I walk into this property, and right out the gate, I get this gut feeling of like, fuck, this is too good to be true. What's the catch? Okay.
There's 30
like,
offers.
Like, first of all, I thought this was going to be a lot harder to find. Second of all, this is such a good price for a house. And I'm like, okay, I go home. They're like, we love it. We want to write an offer. Great. I write them an offer. And here's where the first red flag jumps off. I can't get a hold of the agent. I'm calling him. I'm calling the broker. Probably called him like 5, 10, 15 different times. Find out this guy is in DR. His broker's telling me he's in Europe somewhere. So I'm like, okay, this is good. This is going to be a shit show. This is how this deal is starting out. But I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to find this couple. So I am going to do everything I possibly can to make this deal work, even if it takes the bejesus life out of me, pretty much. Okay. Lo and behold, we finally get this under contract. We get going. But this, like, there's so many red flags along the way, and I'm very good at communicating this to my clients, saying, "Hey guys, listen, this is an ideal situation for as long as I've been doing this, and I've been doing this for a very long time." Disclaimer: I've never seen shit like that. I've never heard about shit like this. So I just want to let you know that this deal may not pan out. Like, I'm bracing them for impact. We finally get the signatures. First of all, I had to send the signature to the seller. Okay. My TC calls the title company. The title company is some personal injury lawyer that says they don't do title, but we dropped the guy's name. They say they'll do the title for this guy. Not to bore everybody with it. Everything that could be a red flag was not getting ignored. It was getting acknowledged, communicated to the client, to the point that my TC, because she's not practicing, but she's an agent, says, "Hey, I think there's something wrong with this place." We find litigation that this place was under a massive lawsuit 3 years ago for what we call Chinese drywall down here, which is a defective drywall that's actually very toxic, that has killed people. And this whole neighborhood was affected. So what do? Not to freak out my clients, but I pick up the phone and say, "Hey guys, don't send in your escrow that's due tomorrow. Hold off on it, because I think there's a bigger issue than we realize. There's no sense of us sending escrow, doing the deposit, and doing all this stuff if this place has not been remediated, because it's about $40,000 or $50,000 for you to do it. And I know that's not money that you first of all have, or I want to put you in a position where this title company is shady, this agent is shady, this broker is shady. Like, you have to be an absolute idiot at this point. I'm not an idiot, a fucking idiot, to just ignore anything that's happening." Lo and behold, where I'm getting to is because of the honesty. And I knew that it was going to be very, 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 very hard to find them something. We ended up walking away from the deal. It would have been nice to say that I got another one under contract. Okay. It would have been nice to get them in record time and do the impossible. But because we walked away from that deal, it took me another 2 or 3 months per se to find him another place where we finally found it. And now I look back at it, I'm thinking to myself, because, I'm still young, but I looked at it as like, these are my clients, aka almost like my kids. They don't know any better. They saw the house, they loved it. They're like, yeah, let's put an offer in it. We're into this deal. Let's say they take their 10, 15, 20 grand of their hard-earned money. They move in, and all of a sudden they get sick. They have their whole fucking life ahead of them. I would have to live with that. And I have a very big conscience, or a guilty conscience. Andrew knows this. Like, when somebody's like, "Dude, I'm fucking mad at you," I'm like, "Oh my God, what did I do? Call me, tell me, let's square it away." Yeah. So I'm with you on that. Honesty is so huge. And to Andrew's point, like, I needed the deal, right? Like, my financial situation at the time when these people walked in my life would have been so much easier to just get it done, get it wrapped up. They would have closed. The money would have been in the bank, but I would have had to make the conscious decision of knowing that I violated everything I stood for, all my values, my moral compass would have been absolutely destroyed. And I wouldn't probably have been able to have this conversation and have a clear conscience that now, because of that decision, and educating them, they've made it, now they're a lot more grateful, and they're actually sending me referrals.
And you've earned their referrals for life. And I think it was on your guys' last published episode where the woman was on there talking about the value of getting referrals. And there's especially as real estate agents, I'm sure this is every industry, there's thousands of companies that reach out to us via text, email, phone calls every day saying, hey, if I could provide you more buyers and sellers, will you pay us a referral? I mean, Zillow turned into a referral brokerage essentially. And we know that, like back in the day, the value of that referral was 25%, right? If someone gave you somebody. So when thinking about this referral world, or the word of mouth world, as she was calling it, the referral is worth 25%. If you don't have to pay 25% on every fucking deal you close, think about what your bottom line is going to look like. Now, we're not the number one team. We're not the number one team in terms of volume in Western New York, but the number one team spends $50,000 a month on Zillow. I've never given them a dollar besides when I bought their stock when it was $195 and now it's $60. That's we don't pay for leads. Take care of the work that's on your desk. It's so much fucking easier. And then you can really propel that to the next level by creating lead generation strategies while taking care of the work that's on your desk.
Yeah. And just take it up the next level.
The biggest takeaway, ready? Don't invest in Zillow. Just listen to Nick and buy real estate.
and save your money, because there's going to be opportunities that you come across the more you get into your career where, hey, that person said they only want 150,000. Okay, I could get you 200 if I put it on the market. I really prefer to list it, but if you really want 150 and you don't want to list it, I'll make 50 grand.
Oh, and by the way, you might not have known this. We've already helped over 100 agents cross over $100,000 and up in GCI per year with our predictable and scalable systems. So if you're interested in learning more about our courses and coaching to help you scale your business to six figures and beyond, head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.